What is food noise? Why do some people struggle with it? And how does GLP-1 really affect it? Let's get into it. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel for another video today. Thank you so much for joining me again, and thank you if you are new here. My name is Brittany. I have lost 112 pounds on Mounjaro and compounded tirzepatide, and here on my channel I share my story, I share other people's stories through interviews, and I share all of the research and stuff that I learned about GLP-1s every single day. So if that interests you, I would love to have you hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment down below, like this video, do all of the things, because it really does help me out. Okay, so we are talking food noise today, okay? So before I jump in, as always, I am not a doctor, and please talk to your healthcare provider before making any decisions that regarding your own health journey. Please talk to your doctor first. So like I mentioned, we're talking food noise today, okay? So I have a really cool study that I want to share with you guys that was done using fMRIs that shows how different areas light up on the brain based on impulsivity and food, emotional eating, all of that type of stuff. It's really cool. This information I actually grabbed from a video by Dr. Dan, who is a doctor in this space. He has a YouTube channel. This is where I got the study information from, and I will try to remember to link that down below if you want. He's got a lot of really good like science-based information on his channel. But we are going to go over not only that, but also what food noise is and why some people have it and some people don't. Because I do think that from all of my research, it is like this perfect storm of things that happen in the body that create the template for food noise, okay? So what is food noise? Food noise is officially defined as the constant or intrusive thoughts about food. So cravings, meal planning, assessing over calories, when you're gonna eat next, what you're gonna eat next, etc. Okay? And the best way that I can think to explain it to somebody who does not have food noise or doesn't know if they have food noise, a really good example for me that I can relate to is, say you're at a soccer game, okay, and you're just there to watch your kid play soccer. That's all you want to do. And there's a mom that every dang time there's a soccer game, she puts her chair right next to yours and she will not shut up. Okay, so she's talking about her kid, she's talking about her husband, she's talking about all of the things that went on in her life this week, and you just want her to be quiet so that you can watch your kid play soccer. That is what food noise is to people who suffer with it. And you can like sub anything out, right? A coworker that bugs you, a friend that bugs you, a husband that just comes home from work and just wants to talk and talk and talk, and you're just trying to watch a TV show. That type of thing, okay? So why do some people have it and some people don't? Because it does seem like some people have it, some people have it worse than others, and some people don't have it at all. And when you say what you go through, they're like, you're just weak. You just don't have no willpower. Those are the people that, you know, are so anti-GLP-1 or whatever. So from what I found, it seems to be this like perfect storm, okay, of a few different factors that combine. So number one is people that have the tendency to really thrive, quote unquote, off of the reward center in their brain. So people that you would say had an addictive personality. So people that get high off of like dopamine spikes, or endorphins, stuff like that, serotonin levels, right? So we're talking people who really thrive off of a vice, whether that vice be alcohol, whether that vice be food, whether it be gambling, whatever. There are certain people that for some reason, their brain just lights up like a Christmas tree when they are fed their vice, whatever that vice may be. Now, that's a hormone imbalance, right? And I think that as GLP-1s have been around for a lot longer, and as we start to research them in a deeper level, we're going to find out that all of that is just a hormonal imbalance, right? And so it's the same type of thing with like serotonin really drives anxiety. There are so many people in the GLP-1 space that say that when they start taking a GLP-1, their anxiety drastically improves because the GLP-1 is helping to regulate hormones all over your body, because there literally are GLP-1 receptors everywhere in your body, okay? And it all starts in the gut and what your gut releases, but it goes everywhere and it signals everywhere, and it helps signals fire at a better rate everywhere in your body. So it makes total sense that some people would report that their anxiety levels completely diminish when they start a GLP-1. Now, like I said, these are the hormones that are responsible for addiction responses in the brain, okay? So the same areas in the brain when you are studying an addict's brain, okay? Then we have genetic factors. Some people have specific genetic variants that cause their body to release more or less of the hunger hormones. So the hunger hormones are ghrelin, it's G-H-R-E-L-I-N, and leptin. Okay, so ghrelin affects hunger and leptin affects satiety. So if your body is not releasing these hormone signals at the right time, or when your body is actually full. So I think misfires, right? So your body is misfiring, and you're also somebody that struggles with an addictive personality, with a hormonal imbalance in it's the preorbital cortex, I think, that part of your brain, then those two things together create a hurricane, right? A storm in your body, because then you're getting your high off of eating the sweets that you love to eat, and your body isn't telling you that you're full. When I was a kid, my mom used to tell me, and I don't know if this is true, I'm just saying this is what she told me when I was a kid. She used to tell me that it takes your brain 20 minutes to tell your stomach that it's full. So your brain is 20 minutes behind your stomach. Now, as an adult, knowing what I know about hormones and GLP-1 and all of the things, now I'm wondering if that's not true for everybody, that some people have signals from their brain in a much more appropriate time frame, and that is why they stop when they're full and way before they get stuffed. Imagine like Thanksgiving, right? So you are eating Thanksgiving dinner, you go back for seconds and you're like, man, this is the one time a year I get this meal. It's my favorite meal of the year. I'm going to get a third serving. And because you're still hungry, right? And then 20, 30, 45 minutes later, you're sitting on the couch with your pants unbuttoned because you're so stuffed that you can't imagine eating another bite. It's the same type of thing with people that struggle with food noise and obesity. They eat and eat and eat and sort of binge because their stomach doesn't tell them they're full, or their brain doesn't tell the stomach that it's full yet until it's too late. Your brain allows your stomach to go too far, and it all has to do with hormones and how they are released and the specific type of hormone that is released when. So those two things together create a perfect storm for food noise. Now, there is other factors that we definitely could get into, like psychological factors such as emotional eating, dieting and restricting. If you have dieted for several years of your life, you are going to essentially mess everything up in your body. If you did not see my interview on last Tuesday with Adrienne Gledhill, who was on The Biggest Loser, we talked a lot in that video how years and years of restrictive eating and dieting have messed her body up so much to the point where she can't even eat certain foods anymore, and her inflammation is just absolutely crazy. And the way that she had essentially wrecked her body through years and years of diet restriction. So we could go so deep into the psychological factors of food noise, and if you want that, comment down below and we will do a part 2 on this, just specifically focusing on that and how emotional eating and disordered eating and psychological factors can drive obesity and drive food noise. Definitely comment down below, because again, that could be a whole 20-minute episode in and of itself, but I do feel like those are important to mention. But the two driving factors we have are genetic variants from hunger hormones and the addiction reward center of your brain working against each other to create a perfect storm. Okay, so how does GLP-1 help that? So we are going to look in this case specifically at tirzepatide, because that is what this study that I found studied. Okay, now also, most people say, if you've been on Wegovy and on Zepbound or semaglutide and tirzepatide, most people say that Wegovy is not as good at turning off food noise as tirzepatide is. Now, as we know, Wegovy is just GLP-1 and tirzepatide is GLP-1 and GIP. So that could be the major reason why. But again, we're focusing just on tirzepatide for this video, for this study. So the study was published by Martin and Friends, and it was a study conducted on 114 obese individuals, okay? There were 3 groups. These people were broken, 114 people were broken into 3 different groups. You had a group that got Zepbound once weekly at 10 milligrams. You had a group that got Saxenda, which is, we did a video on that the other day, liraglutide. That is the new, or not new, but it is the newly approved generic obesity medication. So this is like the original Victoza. So that is what they were given, the once daily injection. And then group 3 obviously was given a placebo, and nobody knew what one they were getting. So they didn't just track weight loss. They tracked weight loss and how much weight was lost. And obviously the Zepbound group lost a significant amount more weight than the other 2 groups did. But they also decided to study impulsivity. So impulsivity in regards to food and also not food. So they're really looking at how these people were reacting to different emotional aspects in their life, different impulses that they normally would have had prior to being in this study. They were looking at all of that and really studying it. And the results found, there were a couple of different result factors from this video. Number 1, the Zepbound users were eating, it said, about 550 less calories per day than the other 2 groups. Now, that's a big difference. 550 plus calories per day is 1 to 2 pounds lost every single week, and they weren't even following specific diets in this study. So they weren't heavily focused on diet, because the study was, again, specifically wanting to look at food noise and impulsivity and emotional eating and what factors drive that and how Zepbound turns it off. Okay, so they were eating less calories, right? But they also had less overall impulsive behaviors. So they followed each specific person in their life, and they had them document things that would trigger them previously, how they felt now that they were on the GLP-1, so on and so forth. And overall, the Zepbound users had way less impulsive behavior, especially in terms to food. They were not having emotional responses to eating or to general life situations, okay? Now, they also took this a step further, and they did what's called an fMRI study. Now, I talked about this a few weeks ago. There is a addiction rehab center in Pennsylvania. They're one of the most popular ones in the nation that are actually using these tests to look at addicts and the different ways that the brain lights up when an addict thinks about different things. So they would, ask them to think about their vice, whatever their drug of choice was, whether it was a drug or an alcohol. And they would look at what areas in the brain were activated when these thought processes were going on, okay? So it's the same type of study that they did in this study, or the same type of MRI. So the study showed, and I'm going to insert a picture of the 3 different brains right here. The study showed that in the group of people that were on Zepbound, way more or way less brain activity went on when they were discussing their impulsivity, emotional eating, and vices. And you can see that by the picture that I am inserting right here. So it is quite literally, if we think about, they like to compare it to lighting up like a Christmas tree, right? So if we are comparing it to a Christmas tree and to a light bulb, the light is turning on way less in the Zepbound users than it is in the other 2. Obviously, the placebo group had the most activation. Saxenda did a pretty good job of turning it off, and Zepbound did an amazing job of turning it off. So what this did was it allowed those people to think less about food, use food as less of a vice, and lose more weight. So I thought that study was so cool. I think that we're going to get more of these studies coming out in the future, especially as more studies come out. There is a study currently going on talking about the addiction and how tirzepatide can help with addiction disorders. And I think that this first study by Martin and Friends was a really good way to start that process out and really see exactly what Zepbound can do in somebody's brain to turn off their food noise. I am so interested to see in 15, 20 years how tirzepatide is going to be used to treat obesity and addiction disorder and all of the other things that are being used to treat it. Now, in a more personal story, I have a family member who actually struggled with some gambling issues. And when this person, I'm not obviously going to say their name, but when this person started Zepbound very recently, the branded Zepbound, because they got their insurance approved, they have told me that literally overnight their urge to gamble, they were into sports gambling, was gone. Like, they have not touched it since they started Zepbound, and they're only on 2.5. So if you are somebody that has noticed that, please let us know down below. I am as somebody who comes from a family with very addictive tendencies, my dad, I've not been shy about this. My dad was a gambling addict and like lost our house when we were a kid. So I come from a family with very strong addictive personalities. We have alcoholics in our family. We have drug addicts in our family. We have gamblers in our family. And so the research surrounding that is something that I'm very significantly interested in. So if you know anything about that, or if you have witnessed that in your own life or in somebody that you know that is on it, please reach out. I would love to have a discussion. I want to interview somebody that is doing this. If you are somebody that has noticed a significant decrease in your addictive behaviors, reach out to me, email me. My email is always down below. You can message me in the Facebook group. I want to talk to you because I think that is a very good conversation that we could have. So what are your thoughts on food noise, and what are your thoughts on why it is caused and how it all works? You guys know I'm a research girl. I love to learn. I love to know about all of the things. And this makes sense to me. It's all a hormone thing, right? The hormones that are in your gut and the hormones that are in your brain aren't being released at the right time. And so your body is, I'm hungry, I want that cake. And your stomach is like, oh, we're probably full, but our body's not good at releasing this hormone. So we're just going to let her keep eating until she's stuffed. And then she regrets it. And then she's guilty. And then she does it all over again, right? So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about this. And of course, let me know if you want a video on the really psychological deep dive of this as well. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any other video ideas, please leave me a comment down below. I have a new notebook here. Side note, I showed this in a video the other day, but it says Smart Juice. But anyway, I have so many different, I don't know if you can see that, but they're topics that are written down that I need to research. And this goes very deep. So I've already filled a good portion of this video or this notebook. I love to sit and spend hours of my life researching this because it's the coolest thing ever. So if you have any ideas, let me know down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. I don't know what day this is going to be on, but I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye.